Power Lunch, August the 15th, 2025. My name is Neil. Let's jump right into it. Today, I'm going to react to a video that was released on YouTube yesterday by a fellow foreigner, GAIJIN in Japan, who's a YouTuber. And he's talking about tipping and the culture and the practice of tipping. And the video is about why you should not tip while you're in Japan. And I'm sorry, but I have a very different opinion on this. And we're going to jump right into it. So let's listen to a little bit, okay? Yoroshiku. Here we go.
How you doing, everybody? There's a couple of things that you shouldn't do in Japan. Actually, a lot more than that. This is one of them. I'm going to start off with this live stream by saying, yeah, I'm not going to tell you not to tip. That's something that you're going to have to do with your heart. I hope that this video will convince you not to tip. But you have to do what you think is right, but this is wrong.
Okay. Thanks for telling us not to tip and saying you're not going to tell us not to tip. Whoa, we're starting off real good. So I like this guy. It might sound bad. I just disagree with his opinion, but I like his channel. I like his shows. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'd love to meet him. I think he does great stuff. But this opinion, it gets so messy, and it needs to be very nuanced when we talk about tipping anywhere in the world, especially here in Japan, where it's a very new kind of a thing. Okay, here we go.
Didn't I just kind of told you not to do it. Anyways, I saw this tip box right here at a restaurant in the basement of this place in Nihonbashi. I'm not going to name the restaurant, but I searched this online and there's articles about it. This has been something that's been debated in Japan in 2025. And I did more research and digging in this in 2021 during the pandemic. There was actually a company started up to bring American tip culture to Japan. We're going to discuss this in this. It failed miserably. That's the bottom line. But we're going to look at this. It's really fascinating stuff. Again, this is an American cultural thing. All right. There's a lot of American tourists. American tourists to Japan are increasing. You give tips to restaurant staff, to workers. The biggest reason why you don't do it is because every single person, it singles out one person, the server, but in Japanese restaurants, they consider themselves a team.
A team?
It's not just the server. Their job isn't just to serve either. They're doing a lot of other stuff, sure, typically at izakayas and restaurants. So when you tip one person, you're kind of insulting the team because that person is not working for themselves.
Okay, hold on. It's getting messy right away here in the first 3 minutes. First of all, tipping, yeah, America loves tipping. It's very big in America. But I would say tipping is a global thing. Tipping is small blackmail. Tipping is used to grease the wheels after the fact and for the future, right? I have given tips all around the world for all kinds of things. Airport staff, taxi drivers, guides, restaurants, bartenders. Russia. We had to pre-tip people in Russia to get things done, right? That's called bribery, when you pay an advance. America has moved it to the end of the service. You do your little bribery after it's done. That's a civilized society, okay? Let's get that point out straight away. That's how I see tipping. Now, tipping should not be forced. And we're going to get into this because that's what a lot of people are complaining about. And that's why so many people love Japan, because tipping is not forced. There's no culture saying you must tip. The other thing is, he's saying you can't single someone out and give them a tip. Well, there's a photo of a tip box on the screen. You're not giving someone a tip. No one gives someone a direct tip in Japan. People will go, oh, no, it's okay, I don't want it. In general. The tip box is there so that you can make a small donation to show that you appreciated the service of the restaurant or the bar or wherever you are. And then later, everyone in the team can split the money. That's why it's a box. They can split the money. It's for the whole team. It's nice. It's good.
Understand? That's Japanese culture 101. The second thing is that they got to report this tips in their taxes. And most of these businesses, they pay the taxes for the workers. So it makes it a big mess when you hand cash to a worker. The manager sees that. They got to follow the rules. The other employees are going to be upset because this person just made like 20 bucks. All right.
Okay. Tips and taxes. I say bring in the tip box. If people want to tip in Japan, it's going to be mostly foreign tourists tipping. Japanese culture, I don't think anyone's going to tip. It's like a little voluntary tax, right? It's like a little voluntary tax on the visitors. He has some points with the tax thing. Japan is very strict with how much you can pay your staff depending on their tax status. If someone is a dependent, let's say you're a part-time worker, you're only allowed to work a certain amount of hours, a certain amount of money per year to claim yourself as a dependent. This is actually a very important thing in Japan. A lot of part-time work is done by students, wives, husbands, whatever it is, and they need to keep their earnings under that level. So there is some issue there. But there are so many ways to get around that. And you're putting tips in a jar, which the manager can then oversee. And here's a good example. They can bring in that money and use that for their year-end party. Bonenkai. Spend it on your bonenkai. Spend it on, a nice barbecue party or dinner for your staff once a year. Whatever. There's a way to use that money, make your staff happy so that they'll continue to work for you and they won't quit, which is super important. You don't actually have to give them the cash. People in Japan, they're going to be happy. Oh, we get free dinner from the tip box? Wow, that's nice. I'm so happy. Problem solved. Bro, think about this a little more.
Now they got to claim that as taxes. The companies don't want to deal with this extra burden because that's not part of the system. Tips.
Now, the other thing is, what goes in the box stays in the box. like in America or anywhere. You got to claim your tips, man. That's your real income. You better claim it. Oh, okay. I'll claim it. Sure. I only got a $5 tip today. Whoops.
Now in the U.S., no tax on tips. But never mind that.
Yeah, never mind that. Why don't we do that in Japan? Why don't we do that to incentivize the workforce in Japan? Why not? Great idea. Here's the other thing. This kind of stuff makes me so angry because I am a business owner. I have a cafe, several cafes. I run businesses. I have staff. The wages, minimum wage for part-time workers is incredibly low. It's incredibly low. Oh, so why don't you just pay your staff more? Well, I'll tell you why. The margins in Japan on running a restaurant, cafe, ice cream shop, bar, whatever you have, are incredibly thin. Right now, everything is going up. Prices are going up. Energy, food, supplies. It either goes up or we have shrinkflation, where you get less for the same amount of money. So it's the same thing. It's all going up. But at the same time, the downward pressure on prices is increasing. It's always increasing. There's a downward pressure in Japan from the years and years of stagflation, from the mid-90s after the Showa era bubble burst. Everything after that has gotten smaller, like the economy is shrinking. Japan and Germany are the two major economies in the world, and they're both shrinking, bro. We're losing population. The economy is shrinking. The downward pressure on prices is increasing, and you're telling people not to tip. Fuck off.
Let's go into this. This is an actual tip jar. I just took this picture 30 minutes ago, which is just insane. All right. Here's the restaurant in the basement here. I'm gonna. It's a gyukatsu chain, gyukatsu. And you can see there's. I was shocked. Actually, I didn't think that they really had a tip jar. I was like, really? And there's a lot of bills in there, and that's the most unusual thing. There's a lot of money in that tip jar.
Ooh,
so either they're doing that to try to get people to tip, or I don't know. Like, what do you guys think about this? What is your opinion of this gyukatsu restaurant? We're gonna hear their point of view in an article they were interviewed about it, but there's a lot of money in there.
What's a lot of
so
money?
Let's take a look at this article here. I think it'll explain a lot, and we're gonna take a look at some more information here. But this came out in May 16th of this year by Sora News. We love Sora News. A Japanese restaurant chain installs tip boxes in response to foreign tourists leaving tips, sparks debate. It sparked controversy, more or less. Less debate, but this thing it's kind of old news in the sense that they went through this in 2021 during the pandemic. I'll talk about that in a second. Tipping isn't a thing in Japanese restaurants, while some foreign language cultural guidebooks frame the situation as tipping being rude or offensive to the sensibilities of Japanese restaurateurs. It'd be more accurate to say tipping in Japanese restaurants is seen as weird. That's very true. Something they don't expect or need customers to do. It's sort of insulting, but it's just bizarre. It's like, half the time the server will chase you down and say you forgot money.
Yeah, totally. That's why they put a tipping jar. It feels weird in Japan to hand someone cash, just like, here, this is for you. You did a great job. I appreciate your service. I want to give you a little something for it. People are going to be like, whoa, what do I do with this? What do I do with this? Right? Very conscientious society, very honest. Yeah, so that's why they're putting the tipping jar. So they can take that money and they can have a Bonenka year-end party. And you can buy a couple of cases of beer. And go, oh, this is the money from all our customers who are happy with your great service. We thank the team. You guys are great. We want you to keep working for us. 900,000 people less population this year. You guys are important. We don't want to replace you with robots. We want to keep you working. If you quit, we're going to have to turn you guys into robots. And then there'll definitely be no need for tipping. I went to Victoria Station chain restaurant in Hokkaido here the other day, and there was no one at the entrance to greet you. You had to self-check in at a machine. Beep, beep, beep. Table number 1. Walk over, sit down, order through an iPad with a QR code and all this crap. And then a person came once to give us glasses of water. That's it. Then a little robot comes with our food. You take the tray off the robot and the robot goes away. It's like, oh man, this is the future, bro. It's so great. It's so personal. It's so nice. This is just, we got robots. Oh, they're gonna eventually charge us, instead of tipping, you're gonna have to pay a battery fee. You're gonna have to pay a little battery fee for the robot. We have to charge the robots. So now we're adding a fee to, it's an electrical charging fee for the robots. That's what's coming up, bro. That's why I think we should keep tipping. Okay, so they're talking about all the rules, the income tax. I totally understand that. But as I said, there's ways around that. Let's skip
around as a result of favorable to them exchange rates following the yen's drop in value. Others, though, are expressing, that's me, worry and frustration about how foreign tourists offering tips and restaurants accepting them could influence dining and culture in Japan. Currently, restaurants in Japan neither expect nor rely on tips. This is true today. So that's pretty.
Yeah, they don't expect or rely on it, but I just really think this opinion completely ignores the incredible difficulty that part-time workers and full-time workers in service and especially restaurant industry in Japan. This is my main point, and it's because I'm involved in it and I have my own businesses. It is incredibly hard to run a successful restaurant business. The gyu katsudon that he's talking about with the tip jar, that's a massive chain. The way those places operate is on volume. They do a lot of business. They have to do a lot of business because the margins are so slim. And they do everything possible to, buy cheaper products, use less, adjust the menus. They're always cost cutting to keep the price at the point where people are like, oh, this is a good value. I'll pay that and no more. I'm constantly fighting against that. In Japan, food costs need to go up. Businesses are not going to survive. You're going to see less and less restaurants, cafes, etc. Going forward, especially outside of the big cities. Tokyo, Osaka, obviously you have a lot of people. You have more volume. You can do volume. And your rent's higher. So it all kind of equals out. But out here in the countryside, we have a lot less people. Now, there was one more
pretty much the article. I'll put a link in the description. WRX.
Let's skip
but they could obviously say, please don't tip. They could make a sign that says no tipping. They could do that. Or they could add a vending machine at the entrance of the restaurant so the foreign tourists could pay before they eat with a sign that says tips not accepted, if this is such a problem.
Jesus Christ.
They don't do that. The best restaurants, the fast restaurants where you want fast turnover and make more money, which is great for the business, then they could pay their staff more, right? In theory. The vending machines, you put the cash in or you swipe, you can actually just touch your credit card, it pays. You get a ticket, hand it to them, that's your order. Meal comes in like 3 minutes. It's so fast because the menus are pretty limited to like 1 or 2 dishes. And you eat and you get the heck out and the turnover is faster. So this system of paying after the meal maybe is not the way. Maybe they need to change their method. Maybe.
Oh boy, I don't even know where to start. This is what I was talking about. Suddenly you're getting rid of the people. You're putting in machines, machines, bro. And there's no personality anymore. But that's what fast food restaurants are. Okay, I understand that. They're cutting costs. They're cutting costs by putting in these machines, making it easier. You just pay, you get your stuff, you go. Yeah, sure. No need to tip there. No one did anything for you. It was a machine. It was a robot. Okay? That's fine. That's not what we're talking about here.
They need to put a no tip sign. Or maybe I think they are soliciting. They want the tips. I think they want the tips.
Yeah.
Why can't just Americans stop trying to make the entire world at the look? You can't. Makasi writes this here to make the world at their image and simply respect local cultures. The bottom line, though, is that a lot of American tourists don't travel internationally, and I don't want American tourists to stop traveling. I think it's great that they come to Japan. I think, because I'm American, I think it's great to be able to experience other cultures.
Totally.
But we can't, and this is the other side of it, I'm going to make the argument for the American tourists. We can't expect people traveling for the first time that want a quick vacation, they don't want to research, they work hard in America, like 60-hour weeks, they work way more than they do in Europe. Most of my friends are overworked in the United States, but they like money, so they keep doing it. They just work hard. They have good habits. They don't want to research this stuff. When they come to Japan, they just want to do it. And some people don't think with their heads. They think with their feelings and their emotions.
Think with your emotions.
I must tip these workers. They look like they're working so hard. I feel like I must give them something.
Working hard.
So that feeling is selfish in Japan. I just want to say it outright. Your feeling is selfish.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. The comment I was waiting for. Your feeling is selfish. Wow. It's an upside down world. The service was great. The food was amazing. This restaurant is incredible. Our staff was so nice. I want to leave them a small sign of my appreciation. I want to give them a tip. Honey, you're being so selfish. You're just doing that for yourself. You just want to feel good about yourself by leaving them a tip. It's going to ruin their lives. It's going to ruin them. They'll be broke and homeless on the street in Shibuya. They'll be drinking leftover chuhais that someone threw away in the garbage at 3 a.m. You're going to ruin their life. Don't give them a tip. Don't do it. I researched this before we came to Japan. You're being selfish. Wow. I don't even know what to say, man. It's not selfish. Okay, folks, it is not selfish to give a tip. You have to think more as an individual, okay? On all sides, okay? Whether you're in America, Europe, Russia, wherever you are, Japan, think as a human being, okay? Understand the local culture, and then still on top of that, think with your own brain. Japan, tipping is not accepted, so I will absolutely not tip anyone under any circumstance. That's wrong. There are situations where you can give someone a tip, and that's totally fine. In America, tipping's 20% now, so I have to pay 20%. No. You should be tipping for the service you receive. It's like voting for the president or the mayor or whatever. If you don't like them, don't give them your vote. That's how things change. Everyone in America basically wimped out and said, we got to tip 20%. I don't like it. Don't tip what you feel is appropriate. That has always been my thought. I've always hated that feeling of we have to tip 20%. That is a terrible, terrible way to go about things. Let's look at a couple of the comments that came in here to wrap it up. And let me see if I can go back to make me small again. Tipping has gone from being voluntary in the US to an expectation that this fueled by entitlement. As someone who worked as a waitress through high school, I worked my butt off for those tips. And now it offends me that tipping is almost forced on customers instead of an incentive for the server to her put forth the utmost effort. The tipping forcefulness has actually cut my eating out by 90%. See? People hate it so much that they won't even go out and eat anymore. America should go to the tipping jar. That would make it easy. You're feeling like you're forced. No. You're putting that on yourself. You're putting it on yourself. Stay strong. Be proud. I'm an individual. I can think for myself. I'll do what I want to do. This person deserves $1. Tip culture is bad. I'm sick of tipping when visiting America. American employers should pay their workers proper wages instead of let them asking customers to tip them like beggars. Yeah, easy for you to say. You should pay people what they deserve. Not having to even think about or worry about tipping when going out is one of the things that I really love about Japan, to the point that I have to remind myself that there is such a thing when I go back to my home country. Yeah, sure. Okay, I get that. Yeah, it is nice. There is no tipping in New Zealand either. Works fine without it. Yeah, well, quite different situation in New Zealand. I hate tipping, okay? In America, many restaurant owners want to be millionaires in their first year by the expense of overcharging customers and underpaying workers. Greed, unfortunately, is the motivator in most American restaurants, whereas service is the motivation in Japan. I don't know, bro. I think you're really oversimplifying that one, you know. Have you ever owned a restaurant? Have you ever tried a restaurant? Why don't you do that? Why don't you go open a restaurant and then you come back and you rewrite that comment when you see how easy it is to become a millionaire? You're absolutely right about making a sign saying, please don't tip, or doing prepay before they enter. Ah, fuck off. People are just ridiculous. I'm in a bad mood today. Here's a good comment. Tip jars put out by a business is a lot different than tipping with the bill. I would 100% tip the tip jar if I like the place. Yay! A sane person in a crowd of crazy people. I love you, Mike Oli. You're a good man. You're a good man. You get it. You were thinking with your brain and not your emotions. We need to push businesses in the U.S. to pay regular wages and get rid of tipping altogether. Over here, dining out has gone up tremendously. Breakfast for food alone can run over $50. Yeah, well, that's what it costs to run a business. I would highly doubt that restaurants around the world are absolutely gouging you. In America, you have, crazy insurance costs, property taxes, rent. Things are so expensive. It's ridiculous. Zoning, the bureaucracy, the permitting to open a restaurant is crazy. Japan is one of the few countries that don't tip. In America, the waiters and waitresses are treated individually, not as a team. Yep, very true. In Japan, the service level standard is just different. Americans who tip come from a place where they think they are helping a struggling worker. They look at the service level in Japan and decide they deserve tips, and I'm sure they think they are fighting the mean old Japanese system. Tipping makes them feel better about themselves doing something outside of Japan norms. You're being selfish. If you tip people, you're being selfish. Let's talk about how much the working people in restaurants make. Tips should be given if you really appreciate and enjoy the service food. Another sane person in a crazy world. Yes. What's your name? I can't even see it. Goshk. Great. And finally, I found the best comment that summed it up and really said basically the exact same thing that I was saying. What is the problem if the tourists tip in a restaurant? Question. With a tipping box, it is not that you tip an individual, but the team. Let them tip if they want to. It is an indirect, voluntary tourist tax, since the Japanese and almost all foreigners living in Japan will not do that. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Another Mike Turkey. Excellent, Mike Turkey. I totally agree with that. You get it, man. You get it. You're a good guy. You're welcome here anytime. Yeah, and that brings up another point. There is another issue called the cheap ass gaijin. Cheap ass gaijin is it's like Trump derangement syndrome, TDS. CAG, cheap ass gaijin. It's a gaijin who's been in Japan 15, 20, probably 20 plus years. Living in Japan, enjoying the good service, the good food, the good people. Maybe married to Japanese, maybe not, doesn't really matter. Been here a long time, working, making that money, maybe teaching English, making that 5,000 yen an hour, going to restaurants, having your ramen at 750 yen. Oh, you want an extra egg? You want an extra slice of chashu? Oh, that's only going to cost you 50 yen. Oh, that sounds good. I'll have extra chashu on my ramen. Oh, what's that come to? 800 yen. Great deal. Thanks. Appreciate that. Been the same price for 25 years. Nothing's changed. I love Japan. Never going home. America sucks. Or whatever country you're from. And over time, you become a cheap ass gaijin. You cheap ass gaijin. I love Japan. Everything stays the same. The prices are always the same. The service is great. People are nice. I appreciate that. And that's the good thing about Japan. Don't change it. What? The ramen. It's 900 yen now. What's happened? Oh, it's that over tourism. It's all the tourists coming to Japan. They're ruining it. They're ruining it. They've raised the prices. The weak yen. Ah, what is going on? What is this? Oh, gasoline's more expensive. Sure. The toyu. I have to go pick up the toyu tanks. And the toyu is more expensive than it was last winter. Ah, shogunai. But my ramen, it's 900 yen now. I will not forgive this because I'm a cheap-ass gaijin. So please, folks, be careful of the cheap-ass gaijin syndrome. If you find yourself complaining about very small, minute price increases here in Japan at your local restaurant, your local bar, whatever it might be, and you're seeing tip boxes and you're like, oh, they put a tip box on the counter. What are we going to do? You have contracted cheap-ass gaijin syndrome. So please, be careful with that, okay? Things change. Times change. And we have to adjust with it. And we have to be fair. And we have to think about others. And we have to be considerate. And we have to support each other. Because Japan is a shrinking economy. Japan is losing an incredible number of people every year. Japan is facing a lot of problems going forward. And we all, whether you're gaijin, Japanese, whatever you are, we're all here and we all love it here. And we have to adjust and flow with the times and keep Japan great. Not make Japan great again. Japan has always been great. Keep Japan great. That's my theme. And if a tip box on a counter is what it takes, that is fine by me. Whether you put it in or not is up to you. You choose. 今日はね、かなり怒って語っちゃったんですけど、すいませんね。頭に来たんだよ。今見た動画でこうきっかけになったんですけど、その人はね、YouTuber で僕結構好きなんですよ。その人に対して別に何も悪く思ってないです。いい人だし、ぜひチャンスがあれば会いたいんだけど、そのチップ文化、日本で増えてきて、これはダメだと。チップ文化は日本をぶっ壊すからやめろと。非常に強く言った。そして、海外の人がアメリカから、例えばアメリカから来て、アメリカはチップ文化あるから、日本もチップしなきゃ。で、チップを上げるっていうのは、わがままだ。自分がわがままだ。すごい発言だよね。チップ上げる方がわがまま？意味わかんないんだけど。いろいろ聞いてたらずーっとそれについて語って、しかもですよ、YouTube のライブやりながら、スーパーチャット、なんて言うんだっけ、お金をもらうやつですよ。僕はたまにもらうんで非常にありがたく思ってるし、僕にとってもそれはチップですよ。番組を聞いて非常に気に入ってくれて、僕と意見があって、この人を応援したいからっつって、100円だ、200円だ。この間ね、$50ももらいましたよ。感動しましたよ。ありがとうございます。本当に嬉しいです。それがチップじゃないですか。その番組やりながら、チップはダメだって、チップ文化は日本でダメだって言いながら、その人の番組にスパチャがね、何回も入ってんだよ。ありがとうとか言いながら。おいおいおい。で、ちゃんと言ってたよ。Patreon っていうね、違う、なんか会員制のシステムを使ってるみたいで、そっちは応援。で、スパチャはチップだと思ってんだって自分で言うんだよ。日本に住みながら自分が YouTuber でいて、そうやってチップもらうのいいんだけど、レストランとかでチップのボックスを置いとくのは日本の文化をぶっ壊すからやめろ。なんて矛盾だらけの話をしてるなと思って、昨日からね、僕寝れなかったっすよ。これ考えちゃって。寝れないなと思って、もう頭に来て。何言ってんの？で、僕がカフェを経営してて、もう長年いろんなビジネスを日本でやってきたし、あとカメラマンの仕事とかも、ガイドの仕事とかもいろんなのやってきて、常にね、チップをもらいたいっていう気持ちはないですよ。僕全くないけど、自分のサービス、自分のやったことが お客さんが素晴らしいと思って、渡してくれるならありがたくもらいますよ。ありがとうございます。嬉しいです。そんなに良かったんですね。そういうもんだ。で、カフェに関しては、カフェ、オーナー、会社を、やって、カフェも営業すると、そのマージンの、日本で飲食関係のマージンがものすごい狭い。儲かんない。全然儲かんないですよ。今、何でも値上がり。燃料、灯油、小麦粉、米だ、なんだ、もうみんな分かってるよね。すべての値段が上がり、値段上げるしかないんじゃない。でも、日本の社会、長年値段、食べ物に関しては上げれてないですもん、25年ぐらい。上げるとお客さん嫌がるの。ローカルのお客さんが嫌がる。だからね、今観光客を相手にしてる商売は、じゃあちょっとチップボックス置いて、ね、ローカルは入れないよ。日本人入れないけど、海外のお客さんちょっと入れてくれたら、ラッキーじゃない？で、それを忘年会に使ったり、社員とか従業員で後で分けるのか、まあ、一番いいのは忘年会の予算に使うのよ。みんなにお金としてあげると確かに税金問題とかいろいろ出てくるから、会社はちょっと違う処理の仕方をして、それを、スタッフへの感謝、商品券あげるとか、なんかやり方あるでしょ。そういうことですよ。観光客、主に観光客からのボランティア税金みたいなものですよ。気持ちだけ入れると。ね。チップで、番組のね、彼の番組の最後ね、そこになんか神社があって、近くに神社があって、じゃあ最後に神社に500円入れに行きますとか言ってね、神社に500円あげる。同じことじゃないかよ。近所のね、神社とかって、町内会だったり、うちのこの町内会、みんながその神社の運営してるから、その募金で集まったお金で建物ペンキ塗ったりとか直したりとかいろいろやるじゃない。大事ですよ。それもチップみたいなもんだよ。素敵な場所を用意して。まあこれについて僕ね、5時間でも語れるんだけど、今日はこれぐらいにしときます。すいません。若干怒り気味のパワーランチだったんだけど、これに関してはね、熱いんですよ。従業員もどんだけ大事か。この間ビクトリアステーションっていうね、ファミレス行ったんだけど、お店入ってもね、誰もいないんだよ。機械でピッ、4名ですって言ったら、1番のテーブル行ってくださいって機械が言って、テーブル行ったら iPad で注文して、ロボットが来て食べ物運んでくんだよ。何これ？人間に会えないのかここは。水のカップだけ持ってきてくれたんだよ。それだけだよ。そんな世の中になってくんだよ。もっとね、人間を大事にして、お互い助け合って、この素晴らしい日本、保護するための一つのボランティア的な行為だと思います。I stand with tipping in Japan. Thanks for listening to me complaining about tipping for, what did we do here? 40 minutes! I just bitched about tipping for 40 minutes. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment. And I'll be back again tonight talking about American news on America Today. Thanks for watching, everybody. And I'll see you next time. じゃあまたね。